Hello, my name is Vicky. Welcome to the demo of integration between Oracle Utility Customer Cloud and Oracle Financial Cloud. This integration covers sending general ledger transactions from Oracle Utility Customer Cloud to Oracle Cloud Financials, sending AP requests from Oracle Utility Customer Cloud to Oracle Cloud Financials, sending status and details of AP payment from Oracle Cloud Financials to Oracle Customer Cloud. We start from general ledger integration. In this demo, we create a bill and a payment for an account Villa Marta, and then we will show you how journals created for this bill and payment will end up in ERP financial journals. So let's look at this account. There is a bill that was just created for it. Let's look at the financial transaction created for one of its bill segments. You can see that this FT has 4 GL details. Now we need to run GL assign batch process, which will allocate GL account numbers to each of these GL lines. Let's run it and then have a closer look at this financial transaction. You can see that the status of the transaction became distributed and GL accounts are assigned to each GL line. And now let's create a payment for $2,000 for this account. The payment is created, and now let's look at one of its segments. We will navigate to financial transaction for this payment. After we ran GL assign job, the transaction became distributed and GL accounts are assigned to each GL details. And now let's run another batch process which is called GLS. This batch process will create a staging record for this transaction, which later on will be used by GL extract. A staging record is created. If you look at the batch control column, you will see the name of the batch process that should be used to create the extract. This is a new plugin-driven batch that was created for this release in order to create dynamic GL extract. Let's navigate to this batch control. The batch process is called C1GL-FCX. Let's submit it so it will create the extract for us. A batch has completed successfully, but let's go and look again at the batch submission. I want to show you how we define various information in the parameters. This batch process has multiple parameters that control its behavior. Two parameters we want to look at is file name and file path. Please notice that the file name has an extension zip. This is because ERP expects file to be zipped, and the file path tells us that the file goes to the object storage. Once the file is created, it is placed to object storage, so we can go, navigate to object storage and check how it looks. This cloud solution is used by CCS for inbound and outbound extracts. Let's go to Object Storage section. Specific compartment is created for data export files. This is our GL extract created by batch process. We can download it and look at it. I want to mention that this file was created according to ERP published FBDR format. ERP expects all files to be created in the specific format. This format is published in their documentation, so you can always go and check out the layout of the file. And that's our GL extract. It has CSV format. And if you look into that, you can recognize GL account numbers and amounts that belongs to bill segments and pay segments we created. ERP expects GL extract to be placed in the specific content management folder in ERP site. So we used Oracle Integration Cloud to move the file from object storage to content folder where ERP will be looking for that. Let's look at this process. New process in Oracle Integration Cloud listens to directory in object storage, and once the file is there, it takes this file and moves it. So this process just ran, and let's look into that. We are in Oracle Integration Cloud, and this canvas shows us the steps that were executed when process ran. You can check details of each step. For example, this step shows the connection to object storage. We can also see details of the data that was processed. Activity stream shows details about every step. And this number represents the number of the record that was created in ERP site.
In the following slides, we will see the ERP part of GL integration table. The data is first loaded into staging table through Universal Content Management. Once the data is loaded into staging table, we need to run one more process within ERP to load it to actual GL interface table. Once the record is successfully loaded to GL interface table, it can be posted. We will see how this can be done within ERP. Please log into ERP with your username and password. Click on the navigation icon on the top left corner of your page. Scroll down to go to Schedule Processes under Tools section. To check the status of the data file which was placed in Universal Content Management, go to the Search section and under Process ID, enter the process ID which was retrieved in OIC in the message. A status which succeeded means that the file was loaded successfully in the ERP load interface table. Once the data is successfully loaded to load interface table, we need to run one more scheduled process to load the data to actual GL interface table. Select the import journal batch process and click OK. Select the appropriate parameters for this batch process where source is equal to CCS transfer. On submitting the report, ERP will pop up with the process ID. In the process ID, enter the ID which was received in the pop-up and click on search. We can see that the batch status is succeeded, which means the records are successfully loaded to GL interface table. On the home page, go to General Accounting and within General Accounting, select Journals. On the right hand side of the Journals page, click the Task button. Within Task button, select Manage Journals Task. In the search parameters, enter the appropriate parameter to find your journals. After finding your journal, you will see the journal is in unposted status. Click on the journal batch name and scroll to the down to validate amounts and accounts of the journal. After validating the journal, to post your journal, go to the top right corner and click Post. Search for the same journal again and you will see that the status is now posted. In this screen, we see that the journals were successfully posted. Once the journal is posted, it cannot be modified or deleted. We can use the reverse functionality to reverse and journal.
Our next demonstration shows sending AP request from Oracle Utility Customer Cloud to Oracle ERP Financials, processing these AP requests in Oracle ERP Financials, issuing AP payments, and sending a status of this payment back to Oracle Utility Customer Cloud. First, we issue AP request for account of Villa Marta. To do that, we create refund adjustment for this account. Adjustment amount is $120. It means that the payment of $120 should be made on behalf of the customer. Now we should generate and freeze this adjustment. And now you can see a P request tab. It shows that the payment should be made in August 14 of 2020, and also it shows the customer address where the check should be sent. There is a batch process that selects all pending AP requests and create an extract from them. A batch process CI APF creates an extract and put it to the object storage.
Below slides comprises of ERP flow for AP request and AP data. Data is first loaded into payment request table. Once the data is successfully loaded into payment request table through batch process, invoice is created. We will make the payment of this invoice and see how the data is transmitted to CCS. Please log into ERP with appropriate user ID and password. Click on the navigator on the top left corner, scroll down to Tools and select Schedule Processes. Key in the process ID under Search section with the message which was received in OIC. Once you find the report, you see that the status is succeeded. This means that data was successfully loaded into the table. The above batch success means that the data was successfully loaded to the interface table. Now we need to load the data to actual table. For this, we will need to run one more batch report. Please go to Schedule New Processes and select Import Payables Payment Request. Enter the appropriate process parameters where source should be equal to CCB one-time payment. Click on Submit. ERP will automatically give a pop-up with the process batch ID. Enter the process ID which was retrieved earlier in the pop-up and click Search in the search section. The status of succeeded means that the records were successfully loaded to payable payment request. You can also see the report from the metadata BIP link beside the succeeded status. Go to the home screen and select Payables. Under Payables, select Invoices. You can search your invoice either by clicking on Recent, which shows all the recent invoices within 7 days, or on the Task menu, which is on the right side. Click on the task. Under Task, you will find Manage Invoices. Within Manage Invoices, search the invoice with invoice number. The invoice number is a clickable link which will take you to the actual invoice. Once you click on the invoice, the actual invoice will open. You can go to Invoice Actions and select Pay in Full to pay the invoice. Once you proceed for the payment window will ask for some specific details. Key in these details and click OK. Once you click OK, the payment is automatically created. You can go back to the main menu and find that the status is changed to fully paid. Once the payment is processed, the invoice status changes from not paid to fully paid. In ERP, there are two business events for payments: payment invoice created and payment invoice voided. In OIC, we subscribe to both these events. These events are triggered when particular actions are taken on the invoice page. Please log into your CCS environment with the user ID and password used in the earlier flow. Go to the adjustment screen and search for the ID for which the payment was requested. You will now see that the status has changed to paid. You can also find the paid amount, payment date, as well as the payment number. Payment number is the check number for which the invoice was paid.
That concludes the demonstration of the integration. Thanks for watching.